Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me. So today, if you can't tell, we're gonna be doing a Valentine's Day look. And if you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Valentine's Day. I feel like there shouldn't be a day for love because you should love your loved ones every day. But I am a big fan of love and makeup. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This year, I'm going to be planning on doing at least 2 looks. One where it's more kind of laid back for the girlies that don't wear as much makeup. And then I'm going to be doing one that's kind of over the top. I'm so excited for this next part. I know I've used this palette before, and it was with a dark blue look. But now I'm going to go in with the Natasha Denona Safari palette. Love this palette so much. If you can find this palette, I don't think they sell it like on Sephora or anything like that anymore, but if you can find it on like Poshmark, anything like that, get it. It is so worth it. I've shown this on video before, but just in case this is your first video with me, like, look. All mattes, stunning. But today we're gonna go in and do my favorite look that I do with this palette, and we're gonna go with the pinks, but we're gonna do it differently than normal. Normally, I go in and I do a cut crease. I love the way it looks with the cut crease, but we're doing it for those girlies today that don't do makeup a lot. They just want something easy. So even if you don't have this exact palette, if you have a peachy skin tone shade like this, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say skin tone, this peachy like high color, and then you go in with like a little rosy mauve, like really it just matches my shirt. And then you have this shade right here, like a dark burgundy, but not like too burgundy, it's more like a pinky wine. You just need those kind of 3 shades and you're good. So we're gonna go in, and we're gonna go in with this, it's called, if you do have this palette, or if you get this palette, this shade is called Malia. And if I'm butchering these words, I am so sorry. Malia. So I'm just gonna go in with a brush, and I'm just gonna put this in as my transition shade. And a transition shade is what's gonna be like what goes from your brow bone, not necessarily all the way up to your brow bone, but it's the first base color I put on. And I'll show you where I put it. I put it like right here, because this is the shade that I use to blend all my other shadows into, like anything lower, and I just blend up, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna layer that nicely, get it to the shape. I usually like to do a kind of like a lifted wing shape. Sometimes I'm feeling a little rowdy and I do more of a rounded eye, but that's not often. And today we are going to be going in with kind of the pointed look. So I just bring it out, kind of like following, sorry, I'm looking at following this. You see what I did there? Look at these. It just goes from like my bottom line up, just so it stays all in that line. And you're gonna wanna use like a bigger, fluffier brush. This one's not super fluffy. I need to brush my brushes. I need to wash my brushes really bad. I have not washed them since Florida, so I'm running low on supply. But I go just enough. There we go. And then I try to typically keep this brush for itself. So like whenever I go in with my second color, I'm gonna use a different brush just in case I need to go in and blend any. This is what I use for my blending. Okay. So with my next brush, a little bit more small, a little more compact, but still quite a bit fluffy, I'm gonna go in with that mauve shade, that lotus shade right there. And I'm gonna put that in my crease right below. And that's what I'm gonna blend into my transition shade that I use, just to make the blending a little bit easier. And make sure you're like flicking it out as you go to keep that nice like pointed look. Now you can bring it all the way in, but I usually start about here and then work my way out. So it's more concentrated like on the outer part of my crease than on the inside. Because if it's too close to the inside, then we're gonna start getting it like a little more closed in. Or if I go heavy on the inside, then I usually do inside and outside and then make it more of a halo effect eye. But that's not the look we are going for today. It's more like a soft cut crease that we're going for today. So we'll bring it in to the middle, but only after most of the product has been deposited on this outside area. And if any of these like tips or anything that I am giving don't make sense, please let me know down below and I will try to explain it in a different way for you all. Now, if you're a girly who does not want to use this dark of a color, what you can do from here is connect this lotus shade, the like mauve color, down to your lash line to make it a full triangle wing. And then you can go in with like a soft shimmer, or you can just use that whole lotus color all over your lid and be done. 2 colors, really easy, out the door. But I'm gonna go on and use that darker color just so I can deepen up that eye look just a little bit, make it just a little bit more romantic. You do want to try and keep this part, if you're doing the look that I am trying to do, you want to try and keep your lid space right here empty. That's why I'm using more of a pointed brush and keeping it just into that upper crease area. Now you want a really dense pointed. You can even use the same brush as we used for that second shade. I'm gonna go in with this one and go in just tapping it in to Masai, if you have this palette, tapping off any of the excess, and then just start kind of putting that in the outer corner right there. And you can see where I put it on and just making my triangle, making that angle. And then I do not pick up any more to put into the actual crease. I just follow in until it just like blends itself out. And this is definitely a look that you can deepen as deep as you want, leave it as, light as you want. It's just all about how much you blend and how much you put on your eye. See how we have that nice wing of point wing effect? That is what we are going for here. I'm gonna pull it into about the halfway, well, I guess where the color of my eye starts right there. At this point, while I'm making my outer corner, I like to go back and forth. That way I can make it the exact shape I want. And instead of doing all of this one and then doing all of this one and calling it good, I can really focus on making the shapes the same. Okay, now going back in with that color, the brush that we used, Lotus, not picking up really any more product, but just using that right where that dark color and just kind of buffing back and forth so that the blend is very nice. We don't want any harshness. Okay, so now for the reason why we kept this clean. Now, if you wanted to do a cut crease, this is at that point. You would take your concealer, take your makeup not makeup remover, but whatever you use to clean up your eyes and get your cut crease ready here. And if you have questions on how to do cut creases, I have plenty of videos in my history of doing cut creases. But then you would do, this part right here. But we're not doing a cut crease tonight. We're doing a soft, subtle cut crease. So going back in with Malia, you're gonna go in with a flat brush. And then you're just gonna put that right on that empty area. Once you get to the end, start tapping. A smaller brush works best with this just because you can get down into this corner here. And I like doing this last instead of putting Malia all over my eyes because then it makes a better soft cut crease. You can put this on over where the Lotus shade was. And then once you have your color, go on and wiggle that right along where Lotus and Malia are. At this point, you can tilt your head back a little. It'll help you get up into that crease just a little bit more. This is a lot of back and forth. I am a back and forth worker. So now, not picking up any more product, I'm going in with that shade that we used with the dark one. And again, just tippy tapping right on that area where Malia and Masai meet. Okay, now if you're a girly who doesn't like under eye eyeshadow, stop here. You're done. Congrats. But if you're like me and you want that under eye eyeshadow, here's what I do, okay? I get a very fine brush, okay? You can use a pencil brush, anything like that. I just tap in to Masai, which is that dark color. On the outer part of my under eye, I start blending it as close to the lash line as I can, and only on like the outside third. Then I want to connect it to where that wing is, where we created that wing. Now get a second teeny tiny brush. So then going back in with a little bit mixture of Malia and Lotus, those two shades there, kind of dip back and forth, tap it off. This you will put on your entire under eye and buff out that purple, that dark purple shade. And at this point, I do close my eyes for this so that I can make sure that I'm getting right up in that lash line without getting it on my actual eyeball or since I wear contacts, a lot of the times it ends up on my contacts. And this is why we only put the purple on that outer third, is because when we smudge, it brings in some of that darkness just right there. So there is the eyeshadow look. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go off camera, but I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. I'm gonna be putting a cream color on my lower lash line. I'm gonna be putting black on my upper, lining it with a black, putting some lashes on, finishing off with a lip, and we will be done. Okay, so we are back. So a few things. Now, if you're a girly who doesn't like lashes, don't wear them. What you can do, what I did, and what I do sometimes, is I'll just go in with mascara, straight from where we ended the foundation, from where we did the eyeshadow, just go in mascara, make them very dramatic. That's it. Well then, also, if you do want a little bit of a line, you don't even necessarily have to do a wing. I didn't do a wing today. All I did was top with a liquid liner, the very top, and then you could do mascara. Because this is a look that is so light that it doesn't necessarily need the lashes. I just prefer lashes. I'm used to seeing myself in lashes, so when I don't wear lashes when I'm wearing makeup, I feel a little off now. But if you want to wear lashes, I highly suggest going in with a liquid liner just where the band's gonna be. Even if you don't wanna do a wing. If you wanna do a wing, great. They're great. But you can do just along the lash line so that when you put that band on there, it has something solid to go on, and it makes the base of your lashes look a little bit thicker because you have, your tight line, and then you have the black on top, your mascara, and then you have lash banded. I like black lash bands. I prefer them, except for, is it the double wispies, maybe? That have the clear ones from Ardell. Love those. So, here is the look. Super simple, super easy. I just put on, if you're interested, it is Lumiere. It's a matte lippy stick from ColourPop. I tried a different shape for my lips today. What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? I like it. But here is the finished look. I hope you all enjoyed this look. I hope I explained things and made it a little bit easier to understand. But I hope you all are gonna have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or just sleeping all day. Whatever you want to do on, what is it? Is it a Tuesday? I'll be working, but here it is. So just keep your eye out for the more a little va-va-voom look that we're going to be doing. And let me know what you think of the blushes if you've tried them. If you have the Natasha Denona Safari palette, let me know what you think because it's like my favorite one. So I hope you all enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one, which will be another Valentine's Day one. Bye.